Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. This is episode 257, Rye Lane. Terrence is not going to be on this episode, unfortunately. Just timing didn't work out, and as you know, TR's on a bit of a hiatus because of work. So it's just the two of us. So this episode 257 is all about a film about two 20-somethings who are reeling both from bad breakups, and they connect over a eventful day in South London. Look, neither one of us saw this movie. You can watch this on Hulu, or if you have Disney Plus with Hulu, you can watch it there as well. And I'll go first. Look, I would highly recommend it. I thought this movie was very sweet. It's a feel-good movie. This is like the movie Chef for me. You know every beat of the movie that's going to happen, most likely, right? You know the ending, the general premise. It's all predictable, but that's not a hindrance of the film. Like there's a familiarity, there's a comfortable aspect of the movie that really works, at least for me. This is like sitting on a couch with a warm blanket and whatever your favorite thing to eat is, and it's just easy. It's an easy movie to watch. The characters are easy to like for various reasons. People grow and change in ways that you would expect, but it's still very fun. I think it's a pretty funny movie, and from a cinematic perspective, I love the way it's shot. It's shot with a sort of a fisheye lens that is done sometimes harshly and most times not so harshly, depending on what they're trying to kind of portray. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the two leads, David Jonsson and Vivian Oparah, were both great. Both mid to late 20s black actors. I thought they both were pretty impressive and carried the film pretty evenly, honestly. I know David Jonsson from Industry on HBO. If you've ever watched that show, he's very good on that, and he's good on this. So, and shout out to first-time director Raine Allen-Miller as well. I thought she did a great job. So that's my thoughts on it.
There's nothing wrong with a well-told story if it's told well, right? Like there's nothing wrong with hitting all the tropes. If your story and if your there's nothing wrong with a story you've heard over and over and over again if your characters are somewhat unique and likable and the story that they're telling is told well. And that's exactly what this is. This is a nice little movie. I really enjoyed it. It's a romantic comedy, so it's got your couple who will eventually get together. They got the meet cute. They go through the get to know you phase. They go through the, break up to make up phase.
Right.
And you get your happy ending. And look, man, this is, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I watched it, without my wife, and, I might have to watch it again because she said that this is a movie she would love.
Yep,
so
that's the same for me. I told her I watched it just by myself, and I was like, yeah, you got to watch this. I think you would love it. Absolutely. And it's the same thing. I'm probably going to end up watching it sometime this week again.
Which is fine because it's a tight 82 minutes.
It's easy. It's an easy watch, man.
This movie knows the story it's trying to tell. There's no fat on it.
No.
You know what I mean? It's all good. And yeah, I really enjoy this.
All right. Yeah, I guess for me, this is a British film. For me, it's really nice to see sort of diaspora films because I think sometimes we get caught up in this sort of sameness of Black American films, and there's some that come out that are wildly different, and we've done them on the shows, and it's that's refreshing. But it's kind of nice to get perspectives, and even though this is a common story, just seeing it through the eyes and the lens of Black people across the world, right? Like telling our stories, but still they got a little bit of their own kind of spice to it, which I dig. And there's some like very, what I would argue, not hyper specific British humor, but there's definitely some like sort of British ways about them that that give it its own edge, right? So while it's feeling familiar, it does tread new ground in a lot of ways for American audiences. So yeah, I really dug it. I just think that it's nice to see movies that are positive. It's like there's no major negativity about this movie. Like, yeah, there are characters who don't get along or something like that. But even the characters who kind of do some dirty shit, you don't even hate them because of some of the like the way they kind of recoup some of the characters. Like his best friend, for instance. Like, you don't hate that character even though he did something that's really fucked up because he's such a goofball idiot. Like you're like, all right, like they don't leave you with any sort of like anger towards anybody, which is kind of nice and it's refreshing because God knows that happens in movies a lot.
Yeah, if this was a lesser movie, right? Like one of these characters would be out for revenge or whatever, right? And there would be a lot of like fighting and shit like that. And the real world doesn't necessarily work that way. You know what I mean? Like
most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time people just go, I'm upset about it, and then they just move on.
And then they move on. Right. Yeah, man. So there is no unnecessary manufactured drama with this movie. It feels like a real story that a couple of people in their late 20s would go through. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because when you're in your late 20s, like, you don't have any real responsibility. So, like, there is no reason for you to be like,
so jaded.
This isn't falling down. You know what I mean?
What do you mean you stop serving breakfast? I just go fucking crazy, right? Yeah, and like and it's interesting. It's because we'll get into it in just a moment. But like that's one thing that I actually really enjoyed about it is this idea of like looking at this as a person in their mid-40s now, like seeing the sort of mindset of people in their 20s, because I think it accurately describes and shows what the mindset of people in their 20s is, which is like there's a level of like fake bravado and stuff like that because you're trying to like fake it till you make it type of shit because there's like your imposter syndrome is at an all-time high, right? Whether you realize it or not. And so like there's all of this like, yeah, no, we're real adults. I'm really sad and I don't know what to do with my life and I'm terrified and stuff like yeah, that's the real you. Like behind all the bullshit, that's the real you. And so it does a really good job of like kind of having those layers, breaking them down and like kind of showing you like, yeah, this stuff is common to everybody. Like if you feel this way, you're not alone, like, without it being like sappy and shit like that. So I appreciated that. All right, so let's get into it. The film opens up with Dom, played by David Jonsson, who is watching some sort of like YouTube or social media videos of his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend, who just happens to be his best friend, like doing fun stuff on dates and all this other shit. And he's in a stall in a bathroom crying because he is very hurt by all of this. And apparently they broke up 3 months ago, but he's still pretty wrecked about it. While he's sitting in the stall, he's like, somebody makes some noise and like sits down, like, and he's like, this is a men's bathroom. And she responds, she's like, this is Yaz, played by Vivian Oparah. She's like, no, it's a unisex bathroom actually. And so she just like immediately kind of feels embarrassed that she heard him crying, and so she leaves, but before she leaves, she looks down and she sees his tennis shoes, right? And so that she can recognize the person when she goes out. And so it turns out they're at this like art opening for her good
For their
friend's
mutual
boyfriend.
friend.
Right.
Yeah, their mutual friend. They know this guy through other people. This guy named Nathan, who has an art exhibition about mouths.
Yeah, like really close up pictures of people's mouths. Which is fucking weird. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, you may not know all of this, but the rapper 21 Savage turns out was born in Britain. And he almost got threatened to be deported at one point. He got stuck over there and all this other shit. I thought this was him. Like, he looks just, I was like, did they get 21 Savage to cameo in this movie? Because he's also British, technically. But it is not him. If you're watching the movie and you think that it's him for a second, I thought it was. He incidentally has seemingly he has the black haircut from every video game right now. So good for him. There's one person who has it. So yeah, while he's at this art expedition, and his friend, the artist, is just ridiculous, right? But this is like, I've been to many an art expedition or exhibition. Yeah, this is accurate. This is 100% accurate.
I don't know. I like pictures, guys. I like mouths. I like big mouths.
Some of them are cool. Some of them are not.
Well, yeah. Some of them are cool, and some of them are very British.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. They introduced fluoride into the water for a reason, guys.
Yeah, like they all seem like they're trying to get. They're like crabs in a barrel. You know what I mean? They're just all climbing over each other just to stick out.
Yeah, I'm good. Like, yikes. So while he's there and he's looking at the paintings after he comes out of the bathroom, Yaz walks up and she sees the shoes, right? So she's like, he has pink Converse on, right? And so she's like, oh shit, it's the guy. And she says to him like, hey, you all right? And he's like, yeah. Okay, like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? Like, because he doesn't know that was her, but she knows that it's him. And so they're talking, and they're looking at these ridiculous close-up pictures of people's tongues and shit. And they're just meeting, right? Like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, this is your meet cute.
This is your meet cute, right? And so their friend, who's the artist, comes up and he's like, oh, hey Dom, you should buy one of these pictures. Get people like wanting to buy them. Come on, man, help me out, because he knows that Dom is an accountant, right? So like Dom's got a little bit of money, like he's doing all right, and he's living back with his parents. So he's doing okay for himself. And so he's like, okay, I don't really want to buy one, but he does. And so he leaves this art show. And him and Yaz kind of walk out together.
You buying one of my paintings? You buying one of my photos?
Is it good?
You buying one of my photos?
Oh, the ones you've drawn?
You buying one? You buying one for me? You buying one? If I put you in this situation?
Okay, here. Look, let me be honest. Let me be honest. If I'm Dom and I'm standing there with Yaz, yes, because I think she's very cute and I'm going to try to impress her. That has nothing to do positively or negatively about your artwork. I'm just saying that if I had the money, then yes, I would use that as a method of trying to impress her. That's I'm keeping it totally.
Didn't you do that once? Didn't you do that once?
Do what?
Buy something to try and impress somebody? I can't remember.
Like
I have to go back. And maybe it was me. I don't know. I have to go back and listen to Aaron.
That definitely sounds more like you. That definitely sounds
well,
more like...
maybe back then. Maybe back then. Not now.
Oh, hell no.
No, I don't care if I'm single or not. I'm not. No, I'm not buying your fucking mouth pictures. Get out of here.
No. Certainly. Now, I will say this: if she asked me to buy one of her pieces of artwork, I would then think less of her. I would be like, no. This feels like a scam to me, and you're using your attractive looks to lure me into buying your mediocre artwork. I don't think so. You still want to go out. No, I like her vibe a lot. I'm married to an artist, so I like that vibe. So they walk out together with him having bought this ridiculous picture. And so, look, the movie, again, as I mentioned, the movie is shot with a fisheye lens, right? So
Anamorphic is the correct terminology.
Oh, okay, anamorphic. And so it's the way it's done. You get this idea of like how long the streets are, like the background. There's three very important elements to this, and we don't talk about film shooting as much as I think we probably should on the show. But in this case, it's a big element of how the film comes across, right? And so to me, like the movie is kind of very 3-layered, right? It is the conversations that are happening between Dom and Yaz, the background, right? Because they're in Brixton, right? They're in sort of the Afro-Caribbean epicenter in London, right? Which I'll talk about in a second why that's important. And then the other aspect is the people in the background, right? Because they are a separate thing. There's a lot of general weirdness happening. Like if you've noticed in certain scenes, there's a scene where they're sitting on a park bench and there's just a guy, this is like a fat white guy standing in his window looking at them, like leaning out the window, just looking at him. And then they walk off the scene and he's just there. And then he's like, And then he just walks off. Like there's a lot of just sort of general weirdness that has nothing to do with the plot, but they're just there, right? And it's like, it's just showing London as being almost its own character, right? Or Brixton very specifically being its own character. And look, for this taking place in London, this is a very brown film. Like not just the main characters, right? And I don't even mean the people with the talky parts. I mean, even the background are like, African immigrants, Caribbean immigrants, Indian immigrants. Like it's a choosing Brixton I thought was really dope because this could feel like two black people just walking through, the whitest part of London and them kind of standing out and then making that like an issue with it or whatever. But no, this feels very brown and it feels very natural to have these characters there, which is dope.
Yeah, I mean, London is is incredibly diverse, right? Like
parts.
It's essentially. I've only been once, but it feels like the New York of Europe, right? Like
yeah, it kind of is.
So yeah, I'm not terribly surprised, but yeah, it has its pockets, right? It has its pockets, and deciding to shoot in this pocket brought back some cool memories from my time there.
Yeah, I really like London a lot. I think it's a dope fucking city. The whole idea that they talk about like the night bus, that's very real. That's a very real thing. And I actually enjoyed that aspect because like when we were there, like he basically, when he's hanging out with Yaz, like where he lives, like you got to take the tube closes at a certain time, right? So like you got to be on the subway basically, like to get out to where he is by a certain time. Otherwise you're stuck and either you got to take a cab, which is incredibly expensive, get Uber, which is incredibly expensive, I'm sure, or you take the night bus, which are like these buses that go back and forth, but everybody on there is either super drunk or it's super shady or weird, so you'd rather just be on the subway, but you got to be there on time. You can't be out partying to the late hours of the night. So, but that's very real. My wife and I, when we were in London, like, we caught the last train, like back to the last subway train back to where we were staying. And I just saw all of these teenagers, and they were drunk because you can drink at 18 there, just running, like literally diving on the subway because they did not want to miss the last train because they didn't want to catch the night bus. It's a very real thing. So like those kind of aspects of also being in your 20s and being a little bit more reckless with your time, it makes the story feel real. So they go out and they're just kind of walking around. They walk through Rye Lane Market, and they're kind of just giving each other like the lowdown about themselves, right? And she's talking about how she wants to be a clothing designer, and he's talking about how he's an accountant, and like there's a random white guy dressed in a cowboy outfit. Why? I don't know. Like, he shows up again for some random reason. But again, like, the wackiness of this area, like, that's just what works in these scenes. And it looks like sometimes these scenes are just shot and they didn't really give a fuck who was just in the background either. Like, it actually feels like that in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So they stop at this shoe place, and she just tries on some like real wacky shoes, and she tells this whole thing about how she wanted to be Prince when she grew up. So like that kind of explains a little bit of like her quirkiness and shit like that. But I really like her character. Like, her character is really kind of a fun character, where Dom is much more straight-laced. The entire time he's kind of staring at her and like in almost like in this amazement of how free she seems to be.
Yeah, I really like Dom. I don't know why. But I really
you connect with him.
Dom. I connect with this character very much. Especially when I was going through my bullshit. I understand. I understand exactly what this character is going through. And while I probably would not end up with my complete and utter opposite, right? Like it did not work for me to be with someone who is the exact same as me. You know what I mean?
No, it did not. No, it did not. No. Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't recommend that. That's the thing I tried to tell.
You don't grow that
people.
way. You don't grow that way.
I've tried to tell many a person, not you, but like many a person, I want somebody who likes exactly the same things I like. That's not good. That means you just want to be with yourself. That doesn't mean you want to hear any like difference of like the world. Like, it doesn't mean you got to go find somebody who's exactly the opposite. My wife and I are different in a lot of ways, but we're not polar opposites. Like that, I don't know that, look, I know that Paul Abdul and that animated cat got along, but that doesn't mean you. Cat. Yeah, it doesn't mean you. Wow. By the way, we're super old. That's from a music video called "Opposites Attract" by Paul.
Right. It's not Chester Cheetah, folks.
Yo, that is a wild video. Yo, they made that for real with real money. But yes, like it's like just because like people say opposites attract, they do to an extent. Like you gotta. There's a level of nuance there. So yeah, he's so he then relays the story of why him and his ex broke up. It couldn't be me. This could not be me. He handles it way better than I would have. So he says, like, they do this thing. It's almost like a what's that fucking show? Family Guy, almost, right? Like they're explaining something and it kind of does a hard cut to like this is it happening in real time type of thing. And he's telling the story of how he broke up with his girlfriend, and so he's like, yeah, we were going to the movies, and then it switches to him and Yaz like in this this movie cinema, and so like they're going through the motions of the actual situation, and they're watching him. Right, this is a cool element of it, and so he gets to the movies early. Again, it feels like something that you could definitely understand. He gets to the movies early. He orders this food for his girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh." He calls her. He's like, "Hey, like, where are you?" Movie starts in like 10 minutes, and she's like, "Sorry, I'm like just getting out of bed. I lost track of time." And he's like talking to her on FaceTime or whatever, and like he's like, "Okay, I'll just go into the movie and I'll talk to you later. Like, no big deal." And in the background, like when the call ends, in the background, he sees a guy. And so he's like, "Oh shit." And then he took a screenshot of it and looked, and it was like a dude with his dick out. And he says, and not only was it just a dude with his dick out, he was like, "I recognize that dick. That's my best friend." Which was a bit of a weird thing to say. I have to tell you. am 1,000% sure I could not pick your dick out in a lineup. 100%. Never seen it. Don't need to see it. I'm good.
As far as I'm concerned, every other man is a Ken doll. As far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
Sorry, like that's just what growing up straight in the 90s does to you. It gives you a little bit of homophobia. Yep. That's kind of adorable, but also like grow up, nigga. Right? Like, but at the same time, like, nah, yo, every man is a Ken doll.
Like, I'm good. Like, I don't even notice that there are penises in pornography, like in straight porn. I'm like,
I watch Asian porn. It's all blurred. It's just pelvises bumping together. That's it.
That's just the worst pornography. It's just the worst.
It is. It's weird.
Yeah. Like, one, could you stop moaning like that? You sound like a little kid. It's gross. No, Asian porn's not for me. Sorry, guys. So he relays his story. He realizes his best friend is fucking his girl. So as the story goes, he bursts through the door. Like, he literally punches a hole in the door, grabs the best friend, starts kicking his ass. And she's like, Yaz is like, wow, that's amazing. Fucking plot twist. Like, that was dope as shit. And she's like, I can't believe that happened. He's like, yeah, it didn't happen like that. Actually, I went to the movie and I just sat, even knowing that she was fucking another guy. I went and sat in the movie and I cried the whole time eating my popcorn. Like, because I'm a bit of a simp.
Because I'm me in my fucking 20s. Look,
nah, I'd have gone to that house. Like, nah, yo, fuck that. I'm not gonna fight you. Like, that's my thing. Like, I don't believe in that. I'm not gonna fight the person that you're cheating with. What is the point? What's the point? You fucking have her. But I'm gonna call your ass out about it. Like, that's my whole thing. I'm gonna be a piece of shit. So I'm gonna call you out about it. And I'm gonna say some dirty shit to you because that's what I do. Like,
this flashback scene is the first instance of it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. This whole thing, being in the theater and the cutaways to go into the house, it's beautiful. Shout out to the cinematographer Olin Collardry. This is what you get when you get black people to shoot black people.
Yeah.
And this is like, I looked this person up. I looked up their Instagram. He takes wonderful photos, beautiful photos, and this whole movie, right, is full of color and life, and there's not like a wasted shot in here. But this movie flashback scene is gorgeous. Every shot is gorgeous.
That method, by the way, of from a cinematography perspective, that method of like when they're standing in the hallway, and it's sort of like, it's like almost like an oversaturation of the darker colors that makes them look. It's the moonlight thing, right? You know, black boys look blue in the moonlight, right? Like, you literally get that, and their eyes pop because the color is so extremely dark, right? And then there's a bit of light in it. It's a dope. It just looks really fucking good. I love when you get black cinematographers to do black films. Like, it just makes for some really unique stuff. It's really, really fun.
Yeah,
it's really great work. I'm glad you pointed that out. So yeah, but like, even when he's talking about like bursting into the apartment, which that obviously didn't happen, like the apartment is like pink and like pink and blue.
It looks like a Nicki Minaj video. You know what I mean? Like, it's and to the contrast between this deep, dark blues with highlights of bright like white and yellow, to jump directly to the brightness of the yellow and the pink in the bursting through scene. I mean, it just I was really impressed by this. I really enjoyed it. It looked amazing to me.
Yeah, no, it's good. And then you also have, I mean, this needs to be said for folks who have not watched the movie. Like, both of the leads are very dark skinned, right? So like you get this, like, also that's a thing, which is nice to see, right? It's just two dark-skinned black people together. I know, like, American commercials, like, two black people can't be together unless it's Wingstop, apparently. It's offensive. But it's nice to see two dark-skinned folks. And, you know, keep in mind, the director is a light-skinned black woman, right? So it's kind of nice that they want to highlight two dark-skinned black folks getting together. I love that. Like, that's great.
Yeah, with big ass black features, big broad nose, big lips, like,
Yeah.
like, but these two look good.
Yeah, they do.
And yeah, man, like, God, I really enjoyed this movie, man.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, this is a warm blanket on a cold evening. Like, you're just like, I'm gonna have a cup of tea, watching, like, this is a really good movie. And when you finish, you're like, damn, that was really good. And it is. It's just a really good movie. It's just well done. They finish this conversation about the breakup on this bench, and this is the scene I was talking about. Like, just look in the background. Like, there's just a random white guy who just peeks out the window just to look at them with no shirt on. Why? I don't know. But it's just random. Like, it's just, and then he's just like, okay, and he just goes back in. It's just fucking funny. So then they're walking along. There's two kids just randomly dancing very goofy in the background. Like, why? Who knows? And so she's like, all right, let's go. Like, let's just keep walking around. And basically he's like, listen, I got to go meet up with my ex. And my best friend, it's been 3 months, and we're having a clear the air kind of lunch, right?
Look. As much as I can relate to this character, I can't relate to this shit at all. You're dead to me.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna have a clear the air lunch. You cheated on me. Like, clear the air, like. What a Uzi? Like, what are we having a conversation about? Like, this is crazy to me. Like, but it's just to prove that, like, Dom is such an unbelievable nice guy. Like, even still at that point, he's like, you know, talk about the things that we both did. Nah, yo, she fucked your best friend. Like, I don't care what you did. Like, unless you were like, you cheated on her, or like, you know, did some violent shit or some, you know, manipulative, terrible things. Nah, she's 100% in the wrong. The person cheating, you're in the wrong. Like, that's just how it goes. So he goes to meet them, right? And he's like, look, I can't. She's like, I'll come with you. And he's like, I'm not going to take some random person with me. That would be crazy. I'm just going to do this. They meet up at, I assume, like a Brazilian steakhouse. Because his best friend, who is a bit of an idiot, is super excited that, like, as long as you keep the card on the green side, you get unlimited meat. He's like, yo, this is dope. He's like, okay, thanks, Eric. Like, all right. Now, keep in mind, it is his best friend, and it's still his best friend. Like, that's the wild thing, right? Like, he doesn't harbor any necessary hate. Oh, yeah, nigga, you dead to me. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
get the fuck out of here, yo. It's just, nah.
We could, I'd never talk to you again. Unless it was get out of my way as I threw a sharp elbow at you as I passed by. Like,
I wouldn't even say that. Just fucking do it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I'm not built like that. Look, I think Dom is a very interesting character. I'm not built like that. Like,
nah.
You did cheat. Like, it'd be one thing to cheat with somebody I know. It's another thing to cheat with someone I'm friends with. To cheat with my best friend? Nah, the both of you are dead to me. Like, absolutely.
No. Even if we broke up, even if we had broke up mutually, and you go and date her, no, that's not cool. Foul.
Now,
that's
I
foul.
will say this. If like we dated for like me and my girlfriend, this fictional person, dated for like 9 minutes, right? Oh, dated for like 2 months, whatever, like. And then you were like, yo, I'm like super feeling her. She's super feeling me. I think this is like a real thing. Do you mind? Go ahead. But they dated for like
I'm mine.
I wouldn't.
I'm mine.
But weren't they together for like 3 years?
They were 3. Yeah, they were together for like 3 months or something like that, wasn't it? Wasn't it 3 months?
No, they had been broken up for 3 months. They were together for 3 years.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
3 years? No, absolutely not.
That's ridiculous.
No, I would be like, you can't ask for permission for that. I'd be like, nah, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. We're not going to be Eskimo brothers. Knock it off. Get out of here.
I don't think you can say that anymore. I'm sorry.
Inuit brothers. Is it Inuit brothers? Inuit brothers has to be acceptable. Brothers is an acceptable word. Get out of here.
Oh, shit. That's funny.
Yeah. And we all know how Brad feels about Inuits. So that's my favorite fake rumor to spread around. So they're at this lunch. It's just the three of them. And his buddy, Eddie? He's a buffoon, right? Like, Eddie's a buffoon. So you don't hate him. Like, you just kind of like, this guy's like a lovable idiot. And his ex is like real straight-laced, very similar to him. And she's like, look, things have been really great. And, I'm sure you have a million questions. And he goes, yeah, I have one. Why? Like, why did you do that? And just as she's about to answer, like, Yaz comes in and she's like, oh shit. Like, I love being with you. It's so amazing. I'm sorry I'm late and everything else. And, his ex-girlfriend's like, who are you? She's like, oh, I'm Yaz. Me and Dom have been, basically just, we don't want to put a label on it, but we've just been basically fucking a lot. It's really great. And it's hilarious. Like, the scene is really fucking funny because Eddie, the ex's current boyfriend, Eric, he was like, I see you. He's like, I see you, dog. I see you moving up in the world. And then he looks at his girlfriend. He's like, I mean, not up, but like, because he's such a dumbass, but he's so happy for his friend. Like, yeah, all right. Like, he can't help himself. This shit is funny to me. At this moment, like in the movie, like I texted you and Terrence and I was like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this movie. Like, this whole scene is just fucking great. And so, like, there's this real weirdness of the ex-girlfriend because she's clearly jealous that Dom has this woman who really likes him. And she seems very cool and like, Yaz is like socially really good and like, she just is bubbly and, like she's this artist and everything else. So it is pretty dope. And so she's like, the ex is trying to save face. She's like, oh my God, that's great. Like, how did you guys meet? And so they start telling this story. And again, this is one of these like, this is, it's a flashback, but it's a fake flashback, obviously. And it's shot in the same way as the movie theater thing. And, so they're like, yeah, we met at like this hip hop karaoke night, and we were up there, and we were like we were rapping to Nothing But a G Thing, and the crowd was going crazy, and like this shit was fucking crazy to me. And they were chanting Dom and Yaz and Dom, and they were like getting all hyped up, and Eric is like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like he's like hyped for them, and like when like in this sort of dream sequence. Like everybody clears out and you see Eric, he's still in the background. He's in the background of the dream. Like, yeah, hell yeah, this is awesome. It was great. Like they did such a good job of like blending this sort of reality with this like this lie and everything else. It was clever. I really enjoyed the scene a lot. And so, yeah, like they basically end the lunch. And Eric is like, yo, the hands down, that's the best hookup story I've ever heard. Like this shit is amazing. And so they leave the lunch and like he's feeling like super high on life because she felt jealous. But actually before they leave, Yaz gives a dressing down to the ex-girlfriend. She's like, you left this smart, funny accountant for like this guy? Like this guy, he ain't got no job. Like this guy is a loser. Like he seems kind of dumb. He's got nice arms. I get it. But other than that, and the ex-girlfriend's like, you gonna let him talk She gonna let her talk about me like that? He's like, oh, she did say I had nice arms. Like Eric's an idiot. Like he's such a fucking dumbass.
He's a fucking himbo, yo.
He is. He is. And then as she's leaving, she's like, by the way, your man swiped me on Tinder last week, and then just walks out. And so, yeah, like they leave and they're just like high on life because it just worked out perfectly. Dom couldn't be happier. And yeah, it seems a little like down about it, actually. Like I think she felt slightly kind of shitty for doing that, like in hindsight. I don't know. How did you read that?
No, I read that as she's an agent of chaos. Like that's what this character is, right? Like this character is a character that needs to straighten up a bit, and Dom is a character that needs to loosen up a bit, and that's why they fit. But no, I think she did it, and I won't say she took great joy in it, but she did it because she's not thinking about them. She's thinking about Dom.
Right. Yeah.
Because she obviously like has like some thing for him. She likes spending time with him and wants to do that. So yeah, I didn't necessarily take it as she felt kind of bad about it. I think this character is still in her chaos phase and she hasn't apexed at her arc yet. That comes much later in the film.
Yeah. So she's like, look, let's get something to eat. And Dom is like, wherever you want to go, it's on me. I'll pay for it. Like, let's fucking do it. And
they go to this one store. This is so funny because it's so true, right? Like they walk into the store, Yaz sees a random stranger, and she's like, hey, that's a really nice outfit.
I forgot
and
about
she's
this
like,
yet.
And the stranger's like, oh, thanks. I really, wow, thank you. And Dom is dumbfounded. He's like, wait, what? Do you know her? He's like, no, it was just a really nice outfit. It was like, oh, okay. I didn't know people did that. And then he goes to some dude who's standing in line. He's like, hey, those some nice kicks. And the dude is like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck you just say to me? Like, what the fuck you doing complimenting me, nigga? Yeah. Like,
yo, he said, he was like, yo, nice kicks. Like, there's some cool kicks. And he was like, what? It was like, suck your mother. And then he just walked off, yo. It's like, God damn. It's fucked up. But again, I bet that guy grew up in the 90s. And that's just...
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's just a little bit of adorable homophobia, you know, like...
Yeah. just sprinkled into our everything. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. My man was
Give
like,
us some grace, please.
Yeah, please, yo. Like, it's not our fault, yo. It's not our fault. It's a whole decade to fuck us up. Like, it ain't right. We're trying, man. We're more progressive than niggas were in the 90s, I can guarantee you. Just listen to rap music and you know. Shit, listen to any music. This is a fucked up time. So she's like, look, I know this is dope. Spot to get burritos. Let's go. They go to a spot called, and I shit you not, Love Guactually, which is a solid name for a burrito place. I 100% support it. And you get an amazing cameo. The guy who works at Love Guactually is, in fact, Colin Firth, who was in Love Actually. And it's a huge cameo. One, Colin Firth is a big fucking actor to be in this tiny little film. And so they get like spicy pork burritos or some shit like that. And Dom, because he's, you know, a bit of a simp, he's like, oh, how spicy is the pork? And he's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, that's an 8. And he's like, I'll have the chicken then. It's like, you coward. Look, some of the spiciest Indian food I ever had was in London, in fairness. Like, I was surprised. So maybe they're not fucking around.
Yeah, I'm not. Fucking, the British took everything else from that country. Why not take the fucking spices and shit?
Yeah, they did. I was like, this is a little too much. Like nigga, we're not in India, and I can eat very spicy foods, but it was just like, it's like, Jesus Christ. All right, relax. I mean, I ate it, but goddamn. So they get the burritos. Now it's interesting. Like there's a story about how the director actually got Colin Firth to do this cameo. Apparently she wrote a letter to Colin Firth saying, quote, "We all love rom-coms and you are great in them, but mine's different." And then he was up for it. She said, "I wanted to give a friendly middle finger to the very well-known rom-com Love Actually by having a scene where you get to get a burrito, and it's called About a Burrito or something." It was my fiance who came up with the name Love Guactually, which is really funny. So yeah, she just wrote him a letter, and Colin Firth was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so he was like happy to do to support a small Black British film. I thought that was cool.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
So.
Also, don't ask, don't get, right? It never hurts to ask.
Clearly not. Just fucking write Colin Firth a letter. If you want him to come to your fucking birthday party, he'll show up. Yeah, I wonder if she paid him anything. Did he even accept the payment? It was like, don't worry about it. Was it 20 minutes of shooting? Right?
Right.
Let me keep the Love Guactually shirt and then I'll do it. It's fine. It's like, what's his face? Like Brad Pitt doing, I don't know if you knew this, he cameoed in Deadpool 2, right? And
yeah, for a split second. You
know what he got paid for that? Ryan Reynolds was like, "Hey man, I'd really like you to come and do this movie." He was like, "All right, cool. I'll do it, but I'll do it for you got to buy me a cup of coffee. That's it." And that's what he did it for. He did it for a cup of coffee. I think he had an hour, maybe 2 hours of shooting. That was it. And it was like, all right.
Yeah, because what you gonna pay Brad Pitt? What you gonna give Brad Pitt that he don't already have, yo? Come on.
Here's some more good looks. Thanks. All right, cool. I have a plastic surgeon. I'm gonna live forever. So yeah, they have some beers. They eat their burritos. And the walk continues, right? And look, for people, remember a couple months ago when people were like, "Oh, going to Cheesecake Factory is a bullshit date." These people are having a walking date. These are two 20-something-year-olds having a walking date, and it's great. They got a couple burritos and I guess some beers, and that was all. That was it, and it's working out for them. You don't have to be fancy. He then.
So Yaz, they continue on, and a lot of this is walking and talking. So Yaz eventually reveals that she recently broke up with her boyfriend Jules, citing his propensity to not wave at tourists on boats as a red flag. I say that because that comes back a little later.
No, hold on 1 second. There is something that we skipped over. He talks about how, she was saying, "Hey, what are the things that you noticed that were okay, this may not be, this relationship is ending?" And he said there was one where for their anniversary, he took her to the place that they had their first date, and he wanted to make this big grand gesture. He rented out this entire place. It was like a little rinky-dink pizza place or something. And she hated it. She did not like the grand gesture at all. She didn't appreciate it. So that comes back later as well. All right, continue.
Yeah. So she recants in another cutaway. She recants this story about how when she realized this dude wasn't it, and it's I can't remember. Was it so the flashback is set up like a play, like a theater play, and it's cool because
it's well done.
It's very well done. They're on stage and that we are seeing this awkward relationship play out as if it is a stage play. Mm-hmm. And Dom is a bunch of Doms are in the audience.
Yeah, it's like all the Kangs at the end of Quantumania.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And the story is hilarious. it this dude is like he's like another artist, so he's like hyper pretentious, and he doesn't like she's into A Tribe Called Quest, and she brought an album over there for him to listen to, and he's just like, I don't want this, I don't want this. At one point, she's getting ready to give him a blowjob, and he's talking about, he's going to forward her an article about how hip hop music perpetuates violence in the black community or some shit, like while she's going down on him. And then she realizes like, oh shit, like I'm being like a basic bitch, right? Like I'm being basic.
Yep.
And this is not what I want. And so she takes a bunch of like, I forget what it was, like ranch or some shit.
No,
and just
hummus.
Dumps it on his, hummus. Okay. And dumps it on his dick, and then waves to the crowd, the imaginary, flashback crowd, cutaway crowd. And, again, it's another cute, unique, surreal scene.
Right.
That this movie is very good at. But basically all that to say that she left her copy of The Low End Theory at his house. And Dom is like, well, I can buy you a new one. And she's like, no, I want my copy, right? Because
I get that.
Like, I get it, but like I don't. I get it, but I don't.
Well, I don't.
Like I get it, but I wouldn't care.
Like I don't buy records. I don't buy records. Is the shit
like unless
on
it
Spotify?
was,
yes, it is.
Like unless it was autographed, I'll just get another one.
Yeah,
because I don't want to see that person again. But
you a coward. You wouldn't even break into somebody's house to steal a record. You could easily buy another copy. That's ridiculous. What a weirdo you are.
So they come up with an idea of, well, maybe we could steal the record back because 20-something, right?
That doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. But, the movie got a movie, right?
Yeah.
So they visit.
But this is, in fairness, this is the logic of a 20-something. Like, yeah, we'll just steal it back. Okay, breaking and entering. All right.
Right. So they visit. They decide to visit Jules's mother's house. He has multiple mothers. In order to retrieve a key to his apartment.
This whole scene is fucking hilarious.
Again, this is another like scene that's just absolutely played for laughs, right? Like there's a point to it, but it's an extended sequence where it's just kind of played for laughs. Like we meet the ex-boyfriend's mothers, and Yaz is like, look, you just got to distract my ex-boyfriend's family while I go look for a key.
Right.
And he's trying to be earnest, right? Like he's like, the mothers open the door, right? And they're happy to see Yaz, right? But then he's like, hey, got room for one more? Finger guns, right? And they're just like, who the fuck is this?
Yo, she just turned to him. She was like, come in, boy. Like she was so mean. That shit was awesome.
They go into the backyard. They're having like a cookout or some shit.
And they're Jamaican as fuck, by the way. Like that's an important aspect. This family is Jamaican as fuck.
And this is so like cringy, but in a good way, right? Like awkward, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And while Yaz is looking for a key, Dom is out there, being awkward. And at one point, somebody, one of the uncles or whatever, goes up and he starts chatting them up, and they're talking about music and shit. And he's he's bullshitting his way through a conversation, right? He's like, oh, I like, hip hop and trap and I like all that stuff. And the uncle's like, oh, you're a music man, huh? He's like, yeah, I love music, right? It's like, oh, okay. Give me your phone. Let me see what you're playing. I'm gonna connect your phone to Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And they do it, and all of a sudden, it's just it's a bunch of music that I've never heard of, except for one song. It is not trap. It is not trap. It is not hip hop. It is not, what he says it was. But
look, all right, a couple of things here. So one, the uncle has him drinking. They do a zoom in on this. Has him drinking Ray and Nephew white Jamaican rum. Look, I've never had Ray and Nephew, but I've had something very similar that Trini's drink. It's not fucking around. It's called Punchin'. This shit is 63. This shit is 63% alcohol by volume. That's not fucking around. That will get you fucked up real fast. So they're having him drink that. So that's already a part of like his lowered inhibitions in this scene, right? And they make a point to kind of point that out. The other thing is, yes, when they play his music over the Bluetooth, it's all like very like white ballads and shit like that. But then the next song that comes on, they're like, all right, let's do the next song. He's like, it's terrible, all of it's terrible. And then they get to Sign Your Name, right? Which is that 80s song by Sonata Maitreya, who I believe is probably Jamaican. And the one uncle, they're like, man, like, listen to this music. And the uncle's like, whoa, slow down. I like that song. And he starts singing the song. Look, I'm not going to lie. I was singing along, yo. I love that song. It's in my liked music on Spotify. I like that song. It's a good song. You got to look, Sign Your Name that's a great song. And it's just a funny scene. And like, Yaz comes back out and he's hanging out with all the uncles now. Like, they're all drinking rum, like smoking cigarettes, like talking about music. Like he's in now, like even in that quick amount of time, and they're constantly pouring rum for him. I'm like, one, he's not drunk enough as he would be if this was real. But yeah, this shit is hilarious, and like all of the characters in the family have they just have a very distinct look to them. It's just like it's cool to see black people put on display in this kind of way. It looks like a fucking backyard barbecue at any of your family's house. And this dude singing "Sign Your Name" is just hilarious. It's just funny to me. So then Dom goes into the house looking for the keys, and he ends up looking in. Because he's like kind of fucked up. He looks in the one of them, I guess the mom's drawers with all her knickers in them, and he gets caught. And so they're like, I knew there was something fucked up about you, basically. Like, get out of here. Like, you're a weirdo, creep. And so he's like, he doesn't really care because again, he's drunk. Like he's pretty drunk. But then they leave, and his mom or her ex-boyfriend's mom comes out and is like, "You want the keys to so-and-so's house?" Like they like her, so they're just like, "Here," and like take the beast, which is their moped, and then they get on the moped and drive to this dude's house. And of course, Dom is freaking out in the back because one, he's drunk, two, he does not like being on a moped, which I get.
So he got caught because he overheard the mothers talking to Yaz, because they were like, "What is this, your new boyfriend or something?" Basically, and she was like, "Nah, I'm just, I just met him, kind of felt sorry for him, so I'm just kind of hanging out with him." And he audibly was like, "What the fuck?" And that's how he got caught. To drive a little bit of tension there, to plant the seeds for the inevitable breakup to make up thing that's going to happen. But it's not some fucking knockdown, drag out scream fest yet. You know what I mean? What like the movie knows how to be patient with stuff like this.
And it actually comes pretty late in the film, which was a bit surprising. I was actually shocked by that. So they end up actually going to see the person who cleans her ex-boyfriend's house, who kind of runs this night at a club or whatever. They go see him to get the key, and he's like, I don't know if he's trans or what have you. I honestly don't know. They don't say. But like he's wearing a wig, he's got his nails done, but also like in a tank top. Like it's, I don't know. But again, it's nice to see a sort of a diversity of characters, right? Like whatever he because he's referred to as a man, like whatever he identifies as, like is not a major part of the story about him, or it's just not. Like he just runs this club on these nights, and he's just like, yeah, I'm here, and like, hey, if I give you the key, like don't fuck up this dude's house. Like that's it. And also like if I give you the key, I'm gonna need something in exchange. So I need you to go up. It tells Jazz, I need you to go up there and do karaoke. I want something that's fucking entertaining to me before I give you this key. She's like, fuck, I don't want to do that. And so he randomly picks a karaoke song, and he's like, all right, you got to go up there. And she gets nervous, and he goes, like, so Dom is like, I got it. I'll help. We got to get this key, right? And so he gets up there, and the song that he has to sing by himself as a man is Shoop by Salt and Pepper, which is fucking hilarious. Again, being raised in the 90s, this would be a wild choice for me. I don't really want to say the lines, what was it, 10 inches have you sounding like the R word, which is a wild line in that song. It is. That is a line in that song.
Yeah, it wasn't just homophobia. It was fucking ableism too.
Right. Like
the 90s were fucking wild, dude.
that was a mainstream song. Yeah, they play that shit on elevators now, right? Like this shit is crazy. It's wild. So he gets up there and he starts doing Shoop, and it's pretty embarrassing. But then Yaz comes up and saves him. And it's actually kind of a reenactment of the fake hookup story that they told the ex and Eric early on.
It's a beautiful callback to that story, and the fact that they were able to pull that lie off eventually, and like these people are falling for each other. And it's and again, it's another scene that's just lit incredibly well with the strobing, rainbow colored lights bouncing off, and like their skin is you see their skin turning to the different colors. But it's not distracting. It's beautiful, man. This movie looks gorgeous to me.
Yeah, it's really, really well done. Really well done. So they get the key from the guy, and they sneak into her ex's house. And the house is dope, by the way. Like, this is a side note. It's I mean, some of the art choices I'm not a fan of, but overall, it's a pretty dope house. And so she finds, while she's looking around she's not really looking around for the record. She's just kind of looking around the apartment. She finds what she refers to as a moon cup or a diva cup. I think in the U.S. they refer to them as, which is a natural tampon, like a reusable tampon. And she takes it out of the bathroom, and she gets angry because she realizes that this woman that he's with now has already moved in, even though it's only been a number of months. And so she's mad because like this woman has like thong underwear and all this other stuff, and she's like, I couldn't fit into this. Like, and so she's feeling really kind of shitty about herself. Then they hear somebody coming into the house, and they're like, "Oh shit, we gotta hide." And it turns out they thought that her ex was out of the country, and he was, and him and his girlfriend are back. Oops. That's not good. And so they come back, and they're like, "Why is my moon cup in this thing of rice? Like, what the fuck?" And they thought, "Oh, that's the one guy who had the key. Like, maybe that's his like funny sense of humor." But then they hear some shuffling, and eventually Yaz and Dom kind of reveal themselves that they're there. And so they have this like big argument or what have you. And, Dom is like, "Look, man, we just came to get the record. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, that's all we want to do. Like, we don't want any fucking trouble." And so, again, the interaction is like weird, but also like kind of innocent. Like, at a certain point, even his new girlfriend is like, "Oh, this is like a nice story." It's like, even though like she wanted to call the cops earlier because like they were just random people in her house.
Yeah, because they broke in.
Right.
This in a hacky movie, right? Like these two would be fighting or whatever. Everybody would be fighting or whatever, right? But no, this is the ex-boyfriend, Jules is his name. He comes up to Dom and is like, "Hey, oh, I see what's going on here. You like Yaz. Well, let me tell you something, brother. She is incredibly fucked up, and she will drag you down in her bullshit. And that's why I broke up with her." And Dom is like, "Wait, what? I thought she broke up with you." It's like, "Nah, I broke up with her because she's a psycho," right? Yeah. Like, and
Surprise,
I mean,
surprise.
Look, this, spoiler alert, this wasn't about the record, right? This wasn't about the record. It was about her trying to snoop just to see her ex-boyfriend, just to see what he's up to, just to see who this, new person is, right? And it's the weird, it's those weird emotions that you get when you're in a relationship and you're young, you don't know any better, right. And you do weird shit, right? You do weird shit like this. Everyone eventually, the two leads eventually leave. They have an argument. He was like, "Wait, you told me that you dumped him. Like, why?" And then she tries to say, "Look, you thought I was dope when I said that, and I just wanted to, make myself feel better." And the two of them, she says some harsh things, and she says some real harsh things, yo. And
yeah, she was like, "Look, you're gonna be at home jerking off in your single bed." I was like, "God damn!" Like, all right,
yeah, man, like God damn, yo, like and the movie does what I wanted, what I hoped it would do. This character is in the wrong, right? This character is in the wrong in this situation, and she's like, "Look, I'm not good at this. I am kind of fucked up." And she says like some harsh ass shit, and just like, and then he gives her the record back, and he doesn't respond because like he's a good guy. Right. He's not from Baltimore, right? "Well, fuck you then, bitch," and then throw the fucking record on the ground and stomp on it, right?
Right. I mean, that's just what you do. I mean,
right. Right. What kind of superhero ass Captain America perfect man is this, right?
You yell at her to let her know.
Yeah, and then you buck at her, right? Because that's what ignorant ass niggas do.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hit you, but I'll make you know. Okay, that's weird. Strange.
And
Yeah,
then he's upset. He leaves, and
takes the
then
night
Yaz
bus home.
throws right, and Yaz throws the record away because again, it wasn't about the record.
Right.
And this is our breakup, right? And I'm like, and then I'm looking at the runtime. I'm like, yo, there's 17 minutes left, yo. Like, there's not a lot of
Yeah.
time.
Right. With credits. With credits.
Right. It's not a lot of time, but they do a montage to show time passing, these two being independent from one another, kind of living their lives, but kind of still missing each other.
Right.
They show them going on dates and, just trying to move on, right? All of a sudden, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you really don't see movies go this long. It's normally like by the end of the second act.
Yeah, it's usually the second act, and then the third act is all of the
Recovery.
of all of this, right? All of this, instead of it being in a montage, it's usually played out for another 20 minutes.
Right. Which
20 to 30 minutes.
I'm kind of glad they did it this way because, like, look, we already know what.
Yeah, because I hate that part, dude. I hate this part of the romantic comedy, like the breakup, and then we realized, oh shit, what we had was special all along. Like, it's just, I hate this part.
Yeah, I mean, look, people go through that, right? Like in reality,
Right.
But it's just it's a very weird. It's a weird trope that people don't seem to stop being able to lean on. That's why my favorite romantic comedy doesn't really lean on it. It actually treads new ground, which I wish people would do. So there's other ways of handling it. Like they have the argument, but then they're sad, but like they're also like actively living, right? They're actively dating people and stuff like that, where they try to cover that sadness instead of just being like, in my room alone, I hope things work out for me. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, there's other ways to handle it. But yeah,
and to this movie's credit, it's trying to do that. It just does it very,
fast.
very quickly.
Right? No, but that's good. Like, get through
I'm fine.
it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Because we know where this is going. You know what I mean? Is that the director making a cameo in? So towards the end, Yaz has a job as a costume designer for a movie, and she's, I don't know what this, she's like costuming this actor who's like being a space alien or some shit, and the actor's like, "Yo, you really for somebody that you don't like, you talk about him a lot, right?" I think this is the director in this scene. And the director comes up.
It actually might be, yeah.
And the director comes up and she's like, okay, now we're at the end of the movie talking to an alien, by the way. We're at the end of the movie, and then now it's time for you to make a grand gesture, right? To show him that you are the woman that he deserves, right? And it's just like, right, it's tongue in cheek, right? Because they know what they're doing, right? They're talking about, like, yes, right? Like, it's not rocket science, right? And Yaz has her, romantic epiphany. Like, oh no, what I had was what I wanted. So we cut to this art gallery opening where instead of mouths, it's all about butts. And it's just
it's the same guy.
Same dude, right?
Yeah, 22 Savage. Friend. Like, this guy can't stop getting all in people's faces and asses, apparently.
Yeah, and it some of these are god awful.
Not desirable. I don't want to see it. But he does the same thing that he did about the mouth thing. He was like, "We know less about the mouth than we know about the ocean." Like, that's not true. Like, that's not true at all. They're fucking dentists. What are you talking about? And then this time he goes, "We know less about the anus than we know about the oceans." That's a fact. I'm like, again, that's not a fact. That is a completely untrue statement. But even before this, I want to just jump back a second. Like, she has the moment where she's doing the costuming and she's like, she hears the idea of like the grand gesture, right? Like, so it reminds her of the situation with him. Earlier, just a little bit earlier, he's like in an Uber or something, and he's riding in the back by himself, and he's talking to the guy or whatever, and then the guy puts on music, and the song "Sign Your Name" comes on, right? So it's just it's again, it's like familiar ground. It's all familiar ground to set up for this ending, right? It's very sweet. Like it's just a very sweet movie. I can't believe I'm saying this, but in this butt exhibit, I think the friend, the white friend, who's like, yeah, that's my butt right there. It's the nicest ass of all the pictures I saw. It really was.
Yeah, she knows it because she is very proud. She's just like, hey, that's me right there.
I mean,
that's me.
I'm a look.
Oh. And look, Dom, being the perfect man, he doesn't want to look, but she is insistent. Like, no, come on, man. Come on. Look.
Take a gander. Get your nose right up in there. And I love it that Eddie's there and he's like, no, you should look. Because Eddie is a fucking idiot. Or Eric, excuse me. And his ex is there too. And
they're all cool now.
Yeah, everybody's cool now.
Eric helped him move out of his parents' house.
Yeah.
No. I can't. I'm gonna find a new friend.
Look, you don't gotta find a new friend. I'm gonna murder you in that truck. How about that? Like, oh yeah. Nah, they don't have guns. They don't have guns in Britain. They got a lot of knife crime. Like, don't worry about it. You be good. The white chick was like, look. She's not here. Like, you're worried about it. She's not here. And Yaz calls Dom while he's at the art opening. And he's like, hey, like, she's like, oh, are you at the art opening? He's like, yeah, I am. And she goes, okay. And he's like, and you're not. And she goes, yeah, no, I'm not. Can you like come to the window? And he looks out the window, and here she is on this boat that's like passing by where this art opening is, and she's like, "Oh, is that you?" And the thing blows his horn, the boat blows his horn, and she waves at him, and he waves back, right? Which was the thing that she said about her ex. She was like, "I knew you were a boat waver." Who doesn't wave at boats? People on boats waving at you. Like, what are you guys like made of stone?
It's just polite. It's just polite.
Just wave back, you psychos. And she's like, can you come down, please? And she didn't have to tell him twice. My man took off running. He's like, oh shit, the end of the movie's happening. All the good stuff is happening right now. And so he runs downstairs. And he runs out to the bridge. That's the bridge. I've walked on that bridge before. That's the bridge in Harry Potter. And he I'm a nerd. And he walks out onto the bridge, and the boat is passing by, and he's talking to her on the phone. He sees her, and she's like, "Look, I just felt like you needed the grand gesture this time." She's like, "Maybe we could start over and everything else." And he's like, "Okay." And then the boat passes under the bridge. And he's like, where are you going? And she's like, I didn't really look at the route for where the boat goes. So, like, sorry about that. Because she's impulsive and she's an artist. And, like, it's just about the grand gesture. It's not about the details. I'm very much aware of that type of personality. I'm married to it. I love her to death. But I'm like, where are the details on this? Like, no, we're not going to worry about the details. All right, that's cool. Fuck it. Let's just see. And so he eventually gets down to where the boat docks and he eventually finds her and she runs out and they're both like talking over each other. They're so excited to see each other. And eventually the meet cute is over and they finally like give it a real go and they kiss each other and everything is great. And they hit the top lines, right? She's like, are you gonna, I know you gotta leave because you gotta catch the train And he was like, nah. I was like, don't worry about it. I'm just going to see what happens, which is a thing that he said he wouldn't do earlier because he's very straight-laced. Yeah. And so now he's willing to stay. And if he's got to catch the night bus, then he's got to catch the night bus because he wants to spend time with her. And that's where the movie ends. It's dope, man. It's a good movie. It really, really is. It's not a big movie, as we like to say on this show. It don't got no lasers in it, but it's a good story about black people meeting, and like it's not about racism, it's not about slavery, it's not about any of that shit. It's just two black people living and meeting each other, and that's enough. So,
yeah, all you people, all the people who are who think that like all black movies are misery porn. Here you go. Here's something the complete opposite of that. That you can watch and it won't take up all of your time, and it'll make you feel warm and fuzzy inside.
There you go. And sometimes that's all you want. Sometimes all you need. So, all right, that is episode 257 for Rye Lane. We will see you guys back next week for a preview episode for episode 258.
See ya.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.